to make sure that everyone's votes are counted accurately. My question is, recently, as a matter of fact, September 24th, the U.S. an organization called U.S. Purge released a study that looked at the issue of voter purging and discovered that 19 states are ignoring a federal law banning systematic purges within 90 days of a federal election, and Ohio was one of those 19 states. So my question to you is there illegal purging going on in Ohio? If you could explain purging and then tell us if that's going on.
Okay, there's a statewide voter registration database that is developed from the county's databases. Periodically 10 minutes or so, because the county databases are connected through computerized T1 lines to the Secretary of State's database, we get information from those counties every time someone changes a registration or is a newly registered voter. Any purging takes place according to the requirements of the National Voter Registration Act. And to my knowledge, for instance, I know Cuyahoga County. I knew when they were doing their purge, it was more than 90 days before the election. So if that's occurring in other counties in terms of a real purge, according to the NVRA, that's something that shouldn't be occurring. We have people in place who regularly advise the county boards of elections, attorneys in our office who are assigned to particular counties, and we also have regional liaisons who are assigned to groups of counties and regularly visit those counties, go to Board of Elections meetings. Do we know everything the county boards of elections do? No, it's really tough for us to know everything that they do. And the philosophy of my administration is a little different from what I've seen before. Because before, the attitude was it's the boards of elections who run the elections, we just let them do their thing. Well, Ohio has been such a focal point and has been sued a number of times, and when I came into the office there were 21 lawsuits against the office. And so our push has been to create consistency in ensuring the uniformity of rights of voters throughout the state. So the bigger problem in reality for many of the boards of elections is eliminating duplicates, so that if they're notified that their voter has moved to another county, they need to go in and verify that with the county where that voter moved and eliminate that person's name from the roll in that county. And what this requires is a lot of time-consuming manual work to make sure that you're not taking someone off the rolls that you shouldn't be, because you could have 5 David P. Joneses and they may all be 5 separate people. But I don't know specifically about the situation that you're talking about or which counties may be doing it, but it's not occurring at the state level. Instead, it would be occurring in a particular county. And if you want to give me some more detailed information afterward, I will be happy to look into it. Thank you.
Okay. I'm Victoria Lovegren, and I'm a computer scientist and democracy activist, and I'm a host of a radio show called Doing Democracy. As a computer scientist, I have been concerned about electronic voting since I heard of it. And since we have electronic voting, which I'm not happy about, I'm certainly happy with the optical scan. It's much better than the DREs. But given that you're not going to be doing real-time audits, I'm concerned about checks and balances, and I applaud you, and I'm very excited about your Directive 87, which says that the polling places have to post the election results at the polling place. I'm delighted by that. But that brings up another issue, and that's the absentee voters and the absentee ballots. Those are what I think is important for us who are going to be analyzing the data after the fact, who are going to look at those posted totals and compare them with the results that get put on the websites of the counties and the Secretary of State, are the absentee ballots and the counts of the absentee ballots. So my question is, will the absentee ballot counts be separate from the election day counts, and will the absentee ballots be separated from the election day ballots? I think it's essential for those who are doing analysis after the fact that those two counts be separated and not bunched together. for auditing purposes. So what are you doing to make sure that those are separate? And in the computer, in the database, which is my thing, there need to be separate buckets, separate fields that store the results of that absentee versus election day.
Thank you for the question. Originally, the way that absentee balloting has been tabulated has been, that is actually those are the first ballots that you'll see in the returns election night. And that's what you should see this November as well, because the absentee ballots are already there at the Board of Elections. They can be processed, they can be scanned but not tabulated. And then what you'll see, assuming the polls all close at 7:30, which we hope that they do, you'll see that those results are uploaded from memory cards first, or in the case of a county like Cuyahoga, there's high-speed scanners, and it'll be a flash drive that uploads that data. I don't think traditionally there has been the kind of separation that you're suggesting, and it may be something to look at, but it may not be feasible for this election, because boards of elections have had to have their instructions and their planning in place so that they can carry that out smoothly for November. But I will be happy to take that back and look at that, because with the changes that we're experiencing from the no-fault absentee voting, that may be a situation or a scenario that it may be worthwhile to not only account for the number, of course we account for the number of absentee, provisional, but to actually separate those vote counts into the two buckets, as you say.
It's really easy computer programming to do that.
I imagine it would be a fairly simple thing to do. Willing to look at it, because I think it probably does help in not only in the reconciliation process, but in the post-election audit process as well. Thank you.
My name is Michael Dover. First, I would like to thank you as a sociologist for being a great example of what can be done with an undergraduate sociology degree. I'm a social work educator, and I'm working with a group called Concerned Democrats. I'm wondering, my question is this: if a voter who had done early voting already using Cuyahoga County's scan system discovered a problem that would create a disincentive to completing the entire ballot and might create long lines on election day, creating yet another scandal which you are hoping won't happen, would you be willing to speak to that voter in person briefly so he could explain what the problem is?
On election day?
In other words, no, like after this meeting. I'm the voter, and I have discovered a problem.
Okay.
I don't want to go into the details here, but I believe it's going to create a disincentive to completing the ballot, and it's going to create long lines on election day. And I'm an experienced scanner voter from another state, so I know the system, and I believe I've discovered a problem. I'd like to be able to speak with you about it. Would you be willing to talk with me?
Sure, I'll do my best. Are you thinking, is it a ballot layout issue?
No, it's the fine point ballpoint pens on the end of long chains, which the Board of Elections has chosen to fill out the ovals. They take 5 seconds to fill out each oval compared to felt tip pens used in other states, which take 1 second per oval, and it's going to create long lines on election day. I guarantee you, we need to make a change, and we need to make a change rapidly to a new writing utensil for filling out the ballots.
Well, Jane and Pat are here. They're probably the best people to talk to, but I'll help facilitate however I can.
Secretary Brunner, you spoke to the importance of poll worker recruiting, and I'm really excited to hear about Rick's initiative at Tri-C getting veterans involved as poll workers. There are a number of other approaches to increasing the ranks of qualified poll workers, including state employees and other government employees taking time off work, which state law does allow to serve as poll workers. Initiatives getting private employers involved with cutting some people loose to serve as poll workers. What other kinds of things are you doing statewide? And what are we seeing statewide in terms of adequate troops to man the polls on November 4th?
I've seen some very exciting things statewide.